Um, yeah, my name is Stephen Oliver, and I first got involved with Are You OK? They actually messaged me on my Facebook, Lisa Minna. Um, she just thought I'd be a great ambassador, and messaged me, and we met and had a chat, and it's always something I'm a strong advocate of suicide prevention because of, the amount of suicide I've known within my life. So, yeah, for me it was a no-brainer when Lisa approached me. Should I say travel? No. No, it just involves, putting a face to the thing of asking about are you okay, and for me it was a very I was very mindful of the fact of the suicide rates that Indigenous people face, and even the ages. We're having children 10 years old take their lives. So for me, it was important to be part of this thing, to put that Indigenous face to it as well. To start those discussions then also within communities or mob, and because I think sometimes when we see something, people can think, oh, it's just a thing for white fellows, or or even it's just a thing for black fellows, or so I kind of wanted to kind of break that mentality and go, no, well, this is something that's affecting everybody. And yes, we do have higher rates, so we need to be talking about this stuff. It just means that you as a person, you individually, we're meant to connect as people. We're meant to talk. That is, I watched an interesting video on YouTube about isolation, and a guy who had spent 3 days in a room by himself with no clock, no conversation, nothing. And it's amazing what he went through in that time. And you see what isolation does, and being alone, and so that thing of like, you've got what it takes, just to be able to talk to someone, just to connect to, sometimes you don't even realize, if you just sit there and you just have a chat with someone and you make them giggle, you might know they might have been sitting there feeling very lonely. You know what I mean? Like, but you've walked away and they feel much better. They remember something about life that they appreciate. So, for me, it's just about connecting us as people, as human beings. Well, I think, know your relationship with the person, and be ready for an answer that they're not okay. You know, um, don't be scared of what you might hear. Um, and if you don't know what to say, sometimes that's okay too. You know what I mean? There are people that you can help those people see, and give them direction too. So, yeah, but I just say, just do it. Like, it's, and the more you do it, it's like karaoke. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Well, I say, like, when you think about it, this continent at one point was 100% Aboriginal, and now we're only 3%. And when we're already losing our lives to chronic illnesses, or deaths in custody or whatever, we can't afford to have our people losing taking their own lives as well. Like, the rates we're dying at, it's just unfathomable. And it needs to change. We need to change something about that. So, it's a very important thing to me. Yeah, well, I think humor is a great tool, because it gives you kind of an access, I guess, and it's amazing what laughter does. You know what I mean? Like, how it makes us feel, and when we use that, it's that thing of me saying, it reminds you life is good when you laugh. So, I think it's very important. Mm. I guess it was, when I was first asked, I kind of sat around and thought about my relationship with suicide. How has it impacted my life? And my first memory of it was when I was a 10-year-old child, and an uncle of mine had taken his life. And then I started thinking of all the people I've known in between, cousins, other family members, friends. And, like, even in this last year, I've known 3 people who have taken their lives. Um, so, like that, it, you try to think of it as, and you can't, I've come to realise, but, we sit around and we ask these questions, why? If I did this differently, if I'd, what could we have done? And, it's kind of, it's foolhardy to do that. But, that's the thing I love about Are You OK? Is that, at least then if you've asked that in the first place and you've approached it, you know what I mean? It kind of Saves you that if something does happen, it saves you sit around asking those questions and beating yourself up about it as well. Not that it's about you, but um, you know, we torture ourselves and just think, if only I'd said something, if only I'd just reached out. Talk, talk about it. It might seem like it can't be fixed, but everything we learn, we can unlearn. So if we've learned hurt and pain, we can unlearn that. We can learn joy again. We can learn, life, love. You know, don't don't leave it up here, because when you're in there, you justify everything. You work it out, and when you actually just talk to someone, when you hear it, and the kind of thoughts you were having, like, it's you see it in a whole new light. So talk.